You know that friend whose place is always full of stuff? Books stacked on books, art leaning against walls, plants everywhere, candles, trinkets, frames, textures. And you walk in thinking, how do they even breathe in here? Yeah, that person isn't messy, they're regulating something. If you're someone who feels calmer in a room that looks too much to everyone else, welcome. You're about to feel very seen. And today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who love clustered interior design. The style society calls cluttered, but psychology calls something very specific. Here's the thing. Some people feel safe in empty space, clean lines, minimalism, visual silence. But others, silence is the problem. Their brain doesn't relax in emptiness, it scans it. Psychologists call this sensory grounding. For certain people, surrounding yourself with familiar objects, colors, textures, and memories creates emotional stability. Every item becomes an anchor, a visual, I'm safe, I belong here. Clustered spaces aren't random, they're curated comfort. Each object usually has a story, where it came from, who gave it to them, what phase of life it represents. This isn't decoration, it's memory storage. And there's more going on than just taste. People who love visually rich environments often have high emotional depth and strong associative thinking. Their brain connects feelings to objects, objects to time, time to identity. A blank room feels cold. A full room feels alive. Studies on environmental psychology show that people who prefer layered, complex spaces often score higher in nostalgia, creativity, and emotional awareness. Their mind doesn't want less input, it wants meaningful input. And control plays a role too. In a chaotic world where you can't control people, timelines, or outcomes, you can control your space. You decide what stays, what surrounds you, what reflects you. Every shelf is a boundary. Every corner is intentional. Now, let's address the stereotype. People say clustered homes are overwhelming, stressful, distracting. But for the people who live there, it's the opposite. Empty rooms amplify thoughts. Full rooms soften them. For some, especially those with anxiety or past instability, visual richness acts like a nervous system buffer. The environment says, you're held, you're not floating. But here's the honest part. Sometimes clustered spaces can cross a line, when objects stop being comforting and start being armor, when letting go feels like losing parts of yourself. So the question isn't how full is the room, it's why it's full. Does your space energize you, or does it protect you from feelings you're not ready to face? Because one is expression, the other is defense. But for people who genuinely love clustered design, they're not disorganized. They're deeply self-aware. They live in layers, not surfaces. They notice details others ignore. They romanticize corners. They feel at home in visual stories instead of blank pages. Minimalism says remove what you don't need. Clustered spaces say surround yourself with what makes you feel alive. Psychologists sometimes call this high environmental attachment. These people don't separate identity from space. Their room isn't where they live, it's who they are. So if your favorite place is a couch surrounded by books, plants, art, and objects that don't match, if your space feels like a warm mind instead of a showroom, if you'd rather add one more thing than take something away, you're not chaotic, you're layered. Tell me, do you feel calmer in empty spaces or in rooms that feel lived in? And if you want the psychology behind the habits you thought were just preferences, the next video is going to explain you uncomfortably well. Enjoyed today's video? I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around for more.